Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Steve, and today we're going to be talking about the new and improved Bulova Lunar Pilot, the one that's in 43 millimeter. Actually, it's 43.5 millimeters. I just got done doing the dimensions on it. I've already done the review of the 45 millimeter Bulova Lunar Pilot. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 43 millimeter variant, but I'm going to be doing a comparison between this one and the 45 millimeter option. That way you can see the differences between the two. All right, with all that being said, let's roll the intro and get started with the video. So let's get the elephant out of the room and talk about the dimensions of the Lunar Pilot. This version of the Bulova Lunar Pilot has a case diameter of 43.5 millimeters, a lug-to-lug of 51 millimeters, a thickness of 13.3 millimeters, a lug width of 20 millimeters. This watch offers 50 meters of water resistance, and size to my wrist, it comes in at 169 grams. Now, this version of the Lunar Pilot comes with a fully polished case. The pushers are also polished. The only thing that is brushed on this case is that bezel that's holding in the sapphire crystal. The crystal itself is sapphire, and it does come with an anti-reflective treatment on the underside, but it does sit like about a millimeter above the case, which can cause it to be more prone to chipping. I haven't had an issue with this, especially on my old Bulova Lunar Pilot. That crystal still looks brand new, but with the crystal sitting above the case, it is more vulnerable to being chipped. And if you're a little bit more careless, those doorknobs may cause more damage than other watches in your collection. Now, the dial of this watch is very similar to the one in the previous model. It has a raised tachometer, followed by a recessed second track, and then the main dial up above that. We have 3 sub-dials at the 3, 6, and 9, with the elapsed 60-minute counter at the 9 o'clock, the 1/10 of a second counter at the 3 o'clock, and the running seconds at the 6 o'clock. And since they're using the same movement as before, there is a ghost date position. Speaking of that movement, this is the 262 kilohertz high-performance quartz movement, which allows for a smooth second sweep when the chronograph is activated. Now, I think Bulova has changed their claims on their website, but this watch originally was claimed to have plus or minus 10 seconds per year, and I haven't really had an issue with timekeeping. I think it's pretty much on par with that number. Now, this bracelet is basically the same as before, but this version comes with polished center links and quick-release spring bars on the back of the watch. Taking a look at the case back, we see it's basically the same as before with the Apollo 15 mission details. The only thing that changes is some of the engravings on the outside rim. Now, to operate this watch, we're going to use that 8mm push-pull crown, which is signed with the Bulova logo, and those really unique pushers, which I've never seen a watch, aside from this one, have these style of pushers. I think it really fits with the watch. Now, if your chronograph hand is slightly off, I have made a video about it here. You can actually manually adjust it by pulling out the crown and pushing in, I believe it's the A pusher, and it will manually adjust the chronograph hand. The lume on the Lunar Pilot has actually improved over the previous model. I'm not sure if they just put a little bit more luminescence or they're using a different type of lume, but it just seems just a little bit brighter than the previous model. It's not as bright as, say, a diver, but I think it gets the job done for being a chronograph. All right, let's bring up some of the cons. And not that the bracelet itself is a con. I mean, it's a decent bracelet, don't get me wrong, but it really isn't an improvement over what was previously offered. The bracelet is basically the same as before. This one does have quick release spring bars, and yeah, the center links are polished, but it still has the same butterfly clasp, push pins. I thought they were just going to upgrade it a little bit more, especially for that increase in price. I think this watch just needed a little bit more in the bracelet. Maybe if they made it look a little bit like the new Speedmaster bracelet, it could have had just a bit more intricate design. It would have made the increase in price a little bit more bearable. Now, this does come with a NATO strap, which I don't wear. I don't wear the NATO strap. There's no need for it. At least for me, I don't really care to have it on a leather NATO strap. Some of you might like it, but for the most part, I don't think anyone is going to wear it. I think most people are going to have it on the bracelet itself. Now, the size of this watch is still probably too big for most people. I have a 7.5-inch wrist, so it's fine. It works well on my wrist, but I understand if this watch is still too big for you. Hopefully, Bulova releases a third option, a mini option, maybe maxing out at 40 millimeters. Hopefully that's the case because I love this design and I really love that Bulova has this in their collection. Now, one thing about the finishing of this case, and this is going to lead into my pros, the finishing of this case being fully polished and the case itself being more round, it actually hides some of its overall dimensions on your wrist because it reflects your skin tone along the case. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but when I wore the 45mm variant, that entire case is bead blasted, so it's going to stand out from your wrist. But in my next video where I compare both of the Lunar Pilots, you'll see the difference. One just blends in and one stands out. And yeah, it's only a 1.5 millimeter difference, but like I said, with it reflecting your skin tone, it's going to make the watch shrink just that much more. And along with the case, the entire watch is just built very well. It's substantial, everything works the way it's supposed to. The butterfly clasp works well, the pushers work well, the crown feels nice. Yes, it has that ghost position, which I guess is technically a con, but the movement is in high accuracy quartz. It has that smooth sweep. The battery lasts quite a long time. I know it's probably only stated about 2 years for 2 hours for a battery life. 2 years for a battery life. The flat sapphire crystal on here is crisp and clear with no distortion. And yeah, while it is raised above the case itself and it could cause chips and things like that, I haven't really seen any evidence in my 45mm or in this 43mm to say that it's going to. I know that it could, especially if you hit it against a door or something like that, it could chip off a little bit, but really I have no evidence to say that it's going to. Mine looks just as good as when I pulled it out of the box for the first time. Now, overall, I think this is a great recreation of the watch from the 70s. Yes, this is a quartz version. I would love to see a mechanical version, but that would push this watch up into the thousands. And this being a sub $1,000 watch, I think it's a good offering. Yes, you can find this watch a little bit cheaper. I found this watch for sub $500, which is crazy to think about. But if you search around, you could probably find it new for that $500 mark. I definitely would not pay $900 retail on this. I would wait for a sale, things like that. I've seen these watches go on sale, especially now that you can find the black dial a little bit more easy. But this is definitely a good alternative to a Speedmaster. And this watch actually went to the moon. It has its own lunar legacy. It's not just the Speedmaster that's done that. The Bulova Lunar Pilot was there. So I think if you're looking for a watch with a nice legacy, that's built well, that's affordable, you can't go wrong with the Bulova Lunar Pilot. So let me know what you guys think about the Lunar Pilot in the comment section down below. Do you prefer this one, the 45mm variant? Which one do you want to add to your collection? If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button down below and the subscribe button. It really does help the channel. And since you guys have stuck around this far, go ahead and watch my 45mm Bulova Lunar Pilot review right here. Click it, click it, click it, click it, click it, click it, watch it, click it, click it, click it, click it, click it, go, 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 now.